to Mirror Now. Viewers, if there is one minority in our country that needs to step up, a minority that has big influence, large number of followers, the available platform, but doesn't speak, but uses it to speak their mind, speak fearlessly, that is the minority which needs to step up today. And one of those people representing them is joining me right now for a special conversation. A man who wrote these following lines, and I'm going to read those lines out so I don't get them wrong. जिधर जाते हैं सब जाना उधर अच्छा नहीं लगता, मुझे पमल रास्तों का सफर अच्छा नहीं लगता. Written by Javed Akhtar, famous poet and lyricist, a man who doesn't think before speaking his mind fearlessly, a man who obviously likes to take the road less traveled. Mr. Javed Akhtar, thank you so much for speaking with us today. A big congratulations to you on winning the Richard Dawkins Award, a prestigious award. You know, every Indian is so proud of the fact that you've won this and you've been honored with this prestigious award. Mr. Akhtar, you've grown up in a family of rationalists and communists. You've lived and grown up in that kind of an environment. I'm sure, you know, in that era, perhaps people would have lauded this award a lot more than maybe the India of 2020, where we see people wear the religion on their sleeve and hatred as a jewel in their crown. Does it kind of make this award more important today, but perhaps less celebratory?
No, as a matter of fact, the fact is that in the last 2 days, I'm doing nothing but just returning calls by people. And my phone is choked by messages of congratulations. But all right, awards are important. One should feel honored, thankful that your work or your point of view is recognized or appreciated by some people. But the fact is that anytime it is important that instead of thinking of expediency, one should stand up and be counted, stand up and speak his or her mind. You know, and we are fortunately living in a democratic country where we can express our feelings. I am not a religious person. As a matter of fact, I'm an atheist. I'm a rationalist. I don't have any superstitions or any faith in any supernatural power. But you see, I am saying it so comfortably on this channel. There are 13 countries in the world. If I repeat these same words, I'll be hanged or I'll be killed for this. The capital punishment is the fate of any atheist or rationalist in 13 countries in 2020. Can you imagine? So we should feel privileged. At least we are in a country, we are in a society, our country, our constitution allows us to speak our mind.
Oh yes, absolutely. That is true, and that's what you know. I believe in that. At least in this country, you can speak your mind. Many may not choose to, and our country allows us to do that more often than not. Mr. Akhtar, a lot of people though believe and argue that Mr. Dawkins himself is a very rigid atheist, and you know his kind of atheism really disregards people who have some kind of faith. And you know whatever faith others may want to follow. You, on the other hand, you know, come across as more of a pluralist person. Is there some kind of discomfort then when you get this award?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm overwhelmed. I'm honored, and as a matter of fact, I'm a bit surprised. I did not even knew the existence of this award just 2 days back, and it really came out of blue, and. I am surprised because I had no idea that whatever I'm speaking, whatever I'm writing, or whatever I have said in a discussion or in a debate or in a speech, it has reached so far. And I mean, one should be impressed by the sources of communication today. That somebody in India, I'm not some big man, I'm just a writer. And if I have spoken something in, say, in Kanpur, in Lucknow, in Hyderabad, in Calcutta, and if it reaches California or New York, it's rather surprising and impressive and wonderful.
Mr. Akhtar, for that reason, in fact, I wanted to ask you this question. Your words and your view and what you say and how you present it has reached all the way across the world. But what do you think is the kind of impact we see in our own country? You know, people who listen to what you have to say, the way people react to that. How do you see your words impacting people in our country?
No society is a monolith. In any society at any given point of time, there are all kinds of people. And I think there is a sizable segment in our society that is liberal, that is forward-looking. And as a matter of fact, our society is full of, shall I say, closet atheists. Actually, they have lost that faith which they had, their parents or their elders had. They don't have it anymore. But they think it is not very wise to wear their atheism on their sleeve. So they keep quiet. And because of the family pressure, because of the society, because they don't want to stand away from the crowd. I mean, generally people avoid that. So they feel happy and satisfied in being faceless in a crowd. But the fact is that the population or the percentage of people who are losing faith in dictums or ideas that were from the Stone Age or Bronze Age or Dark Ages, this number is increasing by the day.
Do you believe so? Because a lot of people would say that there are more who are actually going inside the closet, not wanting to speak up. एक ज़माना था जब हमारे देश में या पूरी दुनिया में गरीबी ज़्यादा थी, हम पिछड़े ज़्यादा थे, लेकिन चाहे वो अमेरिका के एलन गिन्सबर्ग हो या इंडिया में सादत हसन मंटो हो, वो जो बोलना चाहते थे वो बोलते थे. वो इंक्लूसिविटी और रोमांटिसिज्म का माहौल था और लोग उनको फॉलो करते थे. क्या आपको लगता है कि वैसी रिस्पेक्ट आज नहीं मिलती?
नहीं, ऐसी रिस्पेक्ट तो है मंटो को हर एक से थोड़ी मिलती थी उस समय में भी. मंटो पे, इसमें चुगताई पे, इस तरह के राइटर्स पे तो obscenity के केसेस हुए थे. There were many people who spoke against them, wrote against them. They were pariahs for many people. But at the same time, there was a segment that admired them, respected them, and they were the intellectuals. They were the people who remembered them. Even today, if the name, you know the name and I know the name, who these people were, it is thanks to those people who admired them that day. So societies are not monolith. Even today, I mean, in inverted commas and pun intended, you are not short of so-called anti-nationals even today. There are many. And today they are called anti-nationals, doesn't matter, or sometimes jihadi, sometimes pseudo-intellectuals. But these so-called pseudo-intellectuals and so-called anti-nationals are there in the society and in a very big number. And all of those who are not speaking are not condoning what the others are saying, the opposite point of view. They are not condoning the opposite view. Maybe they don't have enough courage or they think that who will listen to us. But many people agree with us.
एक बड़ी डिबेट शुरू हो गई है पिछले कुछ दिनों में मिस्टर अख्तर, एंड दैट डिबेट इज अबाउट हाउ celebrities and whatever label you want to use for them, pseudo intellectuals or woke celebrities, are all using the hashtag Black Lives Matter. But when it comes to issues in our own country, when it comes to issues of police brutality or discrimination on the basis of caste and religion, they go silent. And there is some amount of hypocrisy here within the celebrity circle. What would you say to that?
No, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. You see, this kind of, like charity, this desire for justice should also begin from home. And we will only have the moral right to look at the other societies and find what is wrong with them when we do some introspection and talk about ourselves objectively. The problem is the moment you talk, if anything goes wrong in the society, or if there is any fairness, injustice, you talk about it. Some people confuse it with the lack of love for the nation, lack of love for the country. It means anybody who wants to correct his or her nation is anti-national. I mean, this I've just failed to understand this definition and this criteria.
Do you wear that as a badge of honor, anti-national?
I don't take it seriously. I know in my bones that I am a nationalist,
Okay.
and I come from a family where
Yes.
generations have worked for the freedom of the country. So obviously, I can't take those people very seriously who had nothing
I
to do
know.
with the Indian freedom struggle.
I know. I, in fact, saw one of your interviews where we speak about when you were growing up, literally thought that Karl Marx was perhaps somebody in your own family, and you were all, raised in an environment where you were ready to revolutionize and go to jail if need be. So I understand where you're coming from. So Mr. Javed Akhtar, you said that in the last 2 days you've been flooded with phone calls and everybody's congratulating you and sending across their wishes. Did you use this opportunity to tell some of them, some of your own friends, कि दोस्त कभी तुम भी ये करके देखो?
Arey, you see, you can't give crash course in uh, bravery or courage or conviction or martyrdom ultimately. So it is, you should leave it to others to decide. I mean, it's their life, what they think they should do or what they shouldn't do. It's for them to decide. Let's not sit on a high horse. Let's not be so moralistic and stand on a pedestal and give a lecture to them. That won't help. That everybody has his own life.
No, I don't mean
So
it, I don't. Correct. No, I don't mean it from the point of view of maybe you needing to lecture anybody, but how do you grow your tribe? How do we have more, people like you who speak up for what they feel strongly about and fearlessly?
I think there are many people. You continue your work instead of, you see, I am not a reformer that way. I can speak my mind. And if some people, if message goes to some people, they ponder on it, they think about it, they analyze it, and they find some truth in it. Wonderful. But you can't be after somebody's life that you have to change. I mean, this is the attitude of religious people. Liberals should not do that.
Actually, Mr. Javed Akhtar, this is something that often is said now, that liberals themselves have become too rigid in their ways, too exclusive in their own ways, and they don't want to listen to the other side or include the other side or be acceptable of the other side. Do you think largely that has become a problem, and not just in our country, across the world, many believe this is happening?
No, what the other side, so-called other side, is saying, which is reasonable and liberals don't accept. If they don't, it is their mistake. They should correct themselves. But if it is not reasonable, how can they accept that? So it depends. I mean, we can't make a rule that I will accept 40% of what you are saying and you accept 40% what I am saying. We can't work like this. We have to go case by case, statement by statement, fact by fact, assumption by assumption. Uh, so obviously, people think differently, and no person can say that he or she is always right. But liberal means is not being staunch about something or inflexible about something. If you are inflexible, you are not liberal. Liberal means that you are learning. You know that today, from your point of view, this is the truth. Tomorrow, you may something more, and you may change your opinion. But the ultimate truth is not with you. You are in pursuit of it. The ultimate truth is with people who are fundamentalists, who are religious, people who know the truth has been told to them, and now nothing can happen. There is no improvement or no discovery, no new perception possible. And if it's there, it is wrong. So this is the attitude of the conservative. And if
By
a liberal talks like that, then he is also conservative. He's not liberal.
Correct. So, by your own definition, Mr. Javed Akhtar, can you think of any personalities, any names in our country right now who impress you and inspire you?
Well, many people, many people. I have great respect for Mr. Omar Jaseen. I have great respect for a professor of JNU, Mr. Purushottam Agarwal, or Mr. Rajiv Shukla. Rajiv Bhargav. He's a political scientist. And there are many people, Mr. Shiv Kumar, who is an economist. These are very learned people, and if you listen to them, they have great ideas about the country, about the society, about the economics, about the culture, about everything. There are many people.
Okay, Mr. Javed Akhtar, let me bring this conversation a little closer to home. And what we saw in our city, in many other parts of our country in the last few weeks, was this big humanitarian crisis where lakhs of our workers were stranded with no food, no money, and all governments, honestly, all governments were struggling to take them home or send them home in a proper organized manner or even take care of them. But there was one person who stood out from the film industry, who grabbed the headlines, and Sonu Sood was seen on the streets arranging bus after bus and sending these people home. I'm not saying he was the only one. Many others did do a little bit, whatever they could do to help the workers. But do you believe that the film industry itself failed in taking care of its own people? Many of these people would have been workers in the film industry itself.
Not at all. On the contrary, I'm very proud of film industry, whatever they have done. And they have performed much better than many who had much more power and position and resources than film industry. There are people like Salman Khan, like Shah Rukh, like Akshay Kumar, like Hrithik Roshan. They have contributed so much. They have been to it, different organizations. Now, I'm a chairman of an organization called IPRS. IPRS is Indian Performance Rights Society. We are a government recognized society, and we collect royalty on behalf of all the composers and lyricists of India. We have the right and distribute the money. Now, this society has seen to it that there are at least 3,750 people who are members, but they are economically in not a very desirable, comfortable position. And we decided that from our collection of royalty, which is the collection of royalty of people who are doing better, we have been giving them money, sending them, it is almost like 2,500 per week for their grocery. And not only that, these 3,750, besides these 3,700 people who are a member, some individuals, that includes me or Saregama and Mr. Shankar Mahadevan, that we have decided that there are some 600 to 800 people who are not our members, but they are musicians, they are writers, lyricists, they are not in good position while they are not a member, so the society can't pay them. We have decided to give them and help them on a personal level, and we are doing that. So wherever you will see Salman, no end to what he is doing. Shah Rukh, all these people. So I don't know how many factory owners have done that for their workers. If they had done it, then the migrant worker would not have been on the highways.
Well, it is great that you and so many others have taken those steps. But do you believe that, like you pointed out, that you don't know how many factory owners did that? But if the society had actually come together, if corporate India had come together and taken care of the people who build our cities, who run our cities, maybe the problem wouldn't have been as grave. That we individually all abandoned these people.
Very right. I totally agree with you. You see, everybody shift the blame. And ultimately, we blame only the government. Not that government is not responsible. Not that we shouldn't blame the governments at all. But the fact remains that there is a certain social responsibility and moral responsibility of the society too. I think the urban society has totally failed in this endeavor. Totally. And we have let down the urban poor so very badly that it will be very difficult to regain their confidence. Very sad, very sad. Lakhs and lakhs of people walking on the highways of India, hungry, with their children, with their women, with their hunger, with their thirst. I mean, it's a shame. But there is a brighter side. If you will find out, you will know that from wherever these people have passed, small towns, small villages, people, common men, common women, have come out of their homes and they have helped these people. If they see anybody barefoot, they give them their own shoes. They give them clothes, they give them water, they give them food. Poor people. So it is the people who are helping the people. That is the biggest support today a man who is walking in the street has. Other people, not the establishment.
My last question, Mr. Javed Akhtar. This year began on an extremely tumultuous note. Even for our country, we had protests and students clashing with the authorities, widespread protests against the government's latest legislation, which was the Citizenship Amendment Act. Then we saw riots break out in the national capital, and the entire environment was extremely tense and vicious, and protests across the country. Of course, all of that got put on the back burner once the pandemic hit us and we all went into a lockdown. But once we emerge out of this scenario, where do you see those issues going from there? That the sentiment which was there within the minds of the people, within the minds of our youngsters, students, all of you who also did your own part. What happens to that issue? Because the police is investigating its cases, charge sheets are getting filed, people are getting arrested. The other side, of course, has had to take a step back because of the lockdown.
Well, I think the common man in the big cities has learned a lesson that ultimately there are two communities in the society. There are two classes, two communities, two religions. Rich people, poor people. All the poor people are in the same situation. All the rich people are in the same situation. So ultimately, it is the economics. It is economics which is the ultimate reality. And whatever is told to you, this community and that community and this religion and that religion, is only to take away your attention from this reality that people are divided economically. That is about all.
All right, Mr. Javed Akhtar, thank you so much once again. Heartiest congratulations and all of our wishes to you on winning this award, and of course on doing what you always do: speak from your heart, speak your mind out and speak fearlessly. Thank you so much for joining us here on Mirror Now.
Thank you. Thank you.